The beginning. My partner is the most amazing person. She loves life so much. I have never met anyone with so much passion. For almost 20 years, Emma Stone and Ryan West were the perfect Hollywood couple. She was a famous movie star. He was a country music singer who had problems with drugs before, but he loved her with all his heart. They walked on red carpets holding hands. They sang love songs together. They said, "We went through so much to be together." But on September 30th, 2025, everything broke apart. New court papers show that Emma was the one who asked for divorce first. The reason was, "We can't agree anymore." But people close to them said Emma found out Ryan was hiding something big. He was seeing someone else, a young woman from his band. The bigger shock came after the divorce was announced. Ryan did not wear his wedding ring at his first show. He erased all the songs he wrote for Emma. He changed the words in his songs to sing about his new girlfriend. It felt like a slap in the face after 19 years of marriage. How they met. In 2005, at a fancy party in Los Angeles, Emma first saw Ryan. She had just ended a 10-year marriage. Her smile looked sad and lonely. Across the room, Ryan was playing his guitar. His country music voice was soft and beautiful. His eyes stopped on her for a long time. A friend introduced them. Later, Emma told a TV host, "I knew right away. My heart was beating so fast." But Ryan was shy. It took him 4 months to call her. That spring, they started dating quietly. Emma would fly from her movie sets just to have dinner with him. Ryan would cook Australian-style food, play music, and tell her about his battles with alcohol and drugs. Emma listened. Her heart softened. For the first time, she felt seen not as a famous star, but as a regular woman learning to trust love again. "He looked at me like I was the only person in the world," she once said. The wedding. In May 2006, Emma appeared at a big event with Ryan. A diamond ring was shining on her hand. "Yes, we are engaged," she told reporters. Their love grew fast. Ryan asked her by the ocean, "Do you want to grow old with me?" Emma cried happy tears, nodded, and hugged him tight. On June 25, 2006, they got married in Sydney. It was a small wedding with only 40 close friends and family. Emma wore a beautiful white dress and carried roses. Ryan stood waiting with red eyes. They said their vows. They exchanged rings. They kissed as church bells rang. "Today is the best day of my life," Emma said with tears of joy. The first crisis. Their honeymoon lasted only 1 week because Ryan had to go on tour. But then tragedy came fast. In October 2006, Ryan went back to drugs and alcohol. Emma was filming a movie in another country when she got a midnight phone call. "He's hurting himself. You have to come back." She dropped everything. She flew through the night. She talked to Ryan with friends and family. Ryan went to rehab for 3 months to fight his addiction. When he came out, he was thin but sober. He said, "Emma saved my life." Emma chose to stand by him. She visited him in rehab. She never showed weakness to the media. She whispered to him during one visit, "We will get through this, but you have to want to live first." Later, Ryan always said Emma saved his life. But people who really understood saw something deeper. Emma was trying to hold the family together at all costs. She believed in second chances. She believed in him. She believed in hope, no matter how hard it was. Building a family. When they got through that first fall, they kept building the image of a perfect Hollywood couple. Emma's career exploded with big movies. Ryan won many music awards and toured everywhere. In public, they were the ideal couple. Emma once said, Ryan brought me back to life. And Ryan said at an award show with a shaking voice, "Without her, I don't know where I'd be." In 2008, their first daughter, Rose, was born. 2 years later, their second daughter, Faith, arrived. They bought a farm in Tennessee and tried to build a peaceful world for the kids. Every Friday night was date night, just the two of them, drinking wine and singing to each other. "We walked through hell to find our way back to each other," Emma said proudly. The cracks begin. But behind the perfection were invisible cracks. Ryan's career pulled him away for months. Emma was always flying to distant movie sets. Though they made a rule not to be apart more than a few weeks, their schedules betrayed them again and again. Emma wanted a complete home. When Rose and Faith were born, she poured her whole heart into being a mom. Ryan loved the two daughters very much. But between being a dad and being a country music star, he struggled to balance. The whole family still looked like a symbol of warmth in photos. But behind those pictures, the marriage had begun to shake. Close friends whispered, "They love each other in two different ways, and that distance is growing." Still, they kept fighting. They kept protecting the fairy tale they built. The hidden problems. For nearly 20 years, they kept up the image of an unbreakable couple. But what no one knew was that the same intense energy that pulled them together in the early days later became a storm that swallowed everything. Their fairy tale was built on hope, effort, and illusion more than truth. When the pressure of fame and family piled up, that shell began to crack. "Maybe we lived in the story others wanted to hear, not our real story," Emma once said with sadness. For nearly 20 years, they still held hands on red carpets and smiled as if nothing was wrong. But behind that bright light were silent cracks, distant tour, lonely nights when Emma woke up alone, and secrets Ryan hid behind tired eyes. The divorce. Finally, on September 30th, 2025, Emma filed for divorce, ending a love story that lasted 2 decades. 2 months after the divorce, Emma appeared before the media with a cold calm. "I am free," she said, but her eyes shook whenever someone said Ryan's name. Then, as if a dam inside her finally broke, Emma decided to tell everything, all the truth she had been forced to bury for so long. Emma speaks out. Emma sat in her quiet living room as afternoon light came through the window. Her heart hurt with memories of the past. Ryan, the man she had shared nearly 20 years with, now seemed to have forgotten everything they built together. According to people close to them, Ryan was going through a midlife crisis. His reaction, publicly moving on to a new relationship, left Emma in terrible pain. "How can he walk away so quickly when we built an entire world together?" she asked herself. Just days after Emma filed for divorce, Ryan appeared on stage without his wedding ring. She remembered every time she watched him put that ring on his finger, every smile they shared like a promise that would never break. Now its absence was a cold message. Everything was over. That night's performance crushed her even more. Ryan changed the words of the song he had written just for her. The song that once whispered of lasting love now hinted at a new relationship. When the audience said Emma's name, he reacted badly, as if wanting to erase every trace of the past. Emma felt as if every memory, every promise they had for years, was being torn apart. Each changed song word, each move on stage, was like a knife to her heart. Ryan moves on. Ryan had moved into a different house. He focused on himself, his music, and freedom. Emma watched this and felt her heart break. The man who once held her in his arms, who helped her through endless nights of pain, had become a stranger. She couldn't believe that everything they once had was now just ashes. Ryan's music career stayed bright. He was getting ready for a new tour, but that spotlight did nothing to ease Emma's pain. She wondered how the man who lived with her for nearly 20 years could turn his back so fast. People said their marriage had become distant. Emma's busy schedule made Ryan feel trapped, leading to his decision to end things. Though he didn't directly criticize her, he had blamed her in old interviews. "I once believed we could get through anything. 20 years. I thought love would protect us. But things aren't always as we imagine," Emma said. She talked about the months facing loneliness while Ryan toured, the empty evenings when she had to stay strong, the disappointment when the man she lived with for so long dove into new things she never knew about. "He's moved on and I have to learn to stand still, breathe, and save myself," she said. The betrayal. Emma continued to share that Ryan had never truly loved her the way she thought. "He never really loved me," Emma said, her voice shaking but strong. She revealed that throughout their years together, Ryan had secret relationships with women from his band and tour. This broke her trust completely. First, there was Ryan's affair with Maggie, the 25-year-old guitar player who joined his tour. Emma said, "That girl appeared on stage, replacing me in the songs he once sang only for me. He flirted with her in public. I couldn't believe my eyes." In May 2024, Ryan changed his song words to mention Maggie. The tabloids exploded with the news. Sources said Ryan had begun a relationship with this young woman before their official divorce. This betrayal completely destroyed Emma's faith in their marriage. Looking back, Emma shared more, thinking about the 20 years and how the distance had slowly built up. Ryan was deep into country music, an endless tour. Emma was busy with major movie projects. "We just drifted apart," Emma admitted. "The gap grew wider even though we lived under the same roof." Emma remembered the nights she spent alone at home, facing loneliness while Ryan was on tour. "I once thought love would save us from everything, but things aren't always as we imagined," she said, her eyes shining with pain. While Ryan slowly found joy with younger women, Emma felt like an outsider in her own marriage. "He moved forward without looking back," she said, her voice choking. "And I have to learn to stand up, breathe, and save myself." The children. Emma also talked about a big decision, a decision more painful than anything because of the children. "When I look at my family, I always think about safety and being steady for the kids," Emma shared, her voice low and shaking. "After what I went through before, I just wanted Rose and Faith to grow up in a certain world without chaos." But she also admitted that her way of raising children created a big difference with Ryan. "He is a gentle, easy-going father. He wants everything to happen naturally," she said, sighing. "Sometimes I felt he didn't value me and he felt I was too strict." She said these quiet cracks didn't show up through loud fights, but seeped through each day. "There were no battles like the news expected," Emma admitted. "Just quiet moments where I wondered if we were really together anymore." The breaking point. Going into the 2020s, public pressure made everything even harder. The news kept asking questions about us, about how long the marriage would last, she said. "Every time we appeared holding hands on the red carpet, I had to remind myself, we're still okay." But reality was different. Emma said Ryan was still struggling to stay sober. "And I was exhausted from always being ready to be the guard, the storm fighter, the one carrying the whole world on my shoulders." She talked about the feeling of being tired and hurt, about wanting balance that marriage did not bring. "I wanted peace. I did everything, but in the end realized sometimes your effort is not enough to save a relationship. Ryan, according to her, also felt trapped by being watched with suspicion. Even when trying to live properly, we had started drifting apart, Emma admitted, looking far away. Old wounds that never healed, fights we never named, opposite needs, all slowly pushed us apart. But on the surface, they were still living in the fairy tale they built. Every time he held my hand, kissed my shoulder, I smiled. But that smile many times was fake more than real emotion. She talked about the quiet anger that built up over the years. I was angry because he depended on me too much. He needed me not just as a wife, but as a lifeline. And he was angry at me because I was too controlling, almost like a military general with everything family, work, our image in public. Friends described that relationship as an endless negotiation. He wanted freedom, I wanted safety. He wanted passion, I wanted peace. Neither of us was wrong, but our needs rarely matched. The final years. When it came to 2023 and 2024, everything started to become clearer. We lived together but no longer really touched each other, Emma admitted. Cameras captured separate moments, Emma going to events alone, Ryan touring without his wedding ring. We still tried hard to fight all the rumors, she said. But I knew marriage needs a lot of effort, and effort sometimes is still not enough. Summer 2025, the breaking point came. The cracks had become gaps that could not be fixed. Emma shared she spent a lot of time with the kids, pulling back into family while Ryan poured emotions into the stage and music. Not because of a fight or scandal, but because we realized we could no longer support each other. In the end, Emma chose her own survival. I can't be both a partner and a caregiver forever. I fought to keep the family and beautiful memories for nearly 2 decades, but in the end, I realized I have to save myself first, she said, her voice low but firm. After the divorce. When Emma filed for divorce at the end of September 2025, it was the end of a long, painful, but also necessary chapter. Now Emma talks about their current communication, only through lawyers, mainly about property and who takes care of the kids. We have no other way but to follow the law. It feels like he has pulled away from everything, not just love, but also being responsible, she sighed, disappointment flooding every word. She said that telling all this is not to accuse or get revenge, but for her to free herself from suffering and fix herself. I once believed in us, once believed love would save us from all storms. Now I have to believe in myself first. I have to live for myself, for the kids, and for what's left of me, she ended, eyes both strong and filled with deep pain. The legal details. The documents show Emma is asking for main custody of the children. Ryan only gets shared decision-making rights, a cold, clear arrangement, like the period at the end of a nearly 20-year story. Both gave up asking for spousal and child support, as if they had lived in 2 separate money worlds for a long time. NLY sharing a weak roof that just fell apart in time. If Emma's filing was a quiet ending, then Ryan's reaction was a roar tearing the air, showing wounds not yet healed. For Emma, the daughters living mainly with her ensures they have stability during these changes. Ryan is also said to have agreed without much objection. His tour schedule and unpredictable lifestyle make him not suitable for daily parenting. But people close to them noted his heartbreak over this agreement. A source said, Ryan loves the girls very much. Giving main custody is not because of lack of love, it's because of reality. Moving forward. In the weeks after the divorce, Emma pulled back into private space with her daughters and her work. She was spotted in town holding hands with Rose and Faith, her face calm but her body showing she was protecting them. For her, survival means focusing on what she can control, caring for the kids, keeping her career, and taking care of her own health. While Emma looks for stability, Ryan pours all his heart into music. Every performance becomes a public therapy session, where pain and emotions overflow on stage. Fans describe his recent concerts as highly emotional performances, with many moments where he tears up while performing songs. Ryan's openness and honesty on stage make audiences love him, but also show the reality that Emma decided to step away from. Those moments, though full of emotions, seem to point out the difference in the paths both chose, one looking for stability and control, the other letting pain flow into music. Conclusion. The marriage between Emma Stone and Ryan West, once seen as a Hollywood fairy tale, finally ended like a quiet tragedy. 20 years of being together, beating addiction, career pressure, and personal challenges left beautiful memories, but also cracks that couldn't heal. Emma chose survival and stability for herself and the kids. Ryan turned to music as a way to let out emotions and heal himself. This divorce is proof that sometimes love and patience are still not enough to save a relationship when differences are too deep.